year. We're on the 21st of Kislev, the day of Hanukkah. Marks the Hilula of a really great rabbi. His name was Harav Rafael Avraham Shalom Mizrahי Sharabi Zecher Tzadik Livracha. One of the great rabbis of his day. He will be a Rosh Yeshiva, the head of the Yeshiva of the famous Yeshiva Bet El, Kabbalistic Yeshiva in Jerusalem. It's actually interesting. He would become known for the great Torah book, the Divrei Shalom. He was born in English year 1775 and passed away in 1827. He was approximately 52 years of age. Let's explore some of the highlights of the great rabbi's life. Now, he was born in Jerusalem and he came from a very great rabbinic heritage. His father's name was Rabbi Chizkiyahu Yitzchak Sharabi. He himself happened to be the son of Rabbi Shalom, the famous Rashash HaKadosh Rabbi we've spoken about on various occasions. He also himself happened to have been head position of the Yeshiva Bet El and the author of many, many great Torah works in itself. And I believe his mother was Rabbanit Simcha. She happened to be, I believe, the daughter of Rabbi Yitzchak Harishon Bar Chizkiyahu Yosef Kobo. Remember, we've spoken about the famous Kobo rabbinic dynasty in of itself in a separate video. They're a really great family with great rabbis. He became known as a genius within regards to Torah, learning about the Nigla of Torah Hanistar, the hidden depths of the Torah in of itself, and he became known as a genius in himself, and he was very well known for his excellent midot tovot, excellent good characteristics. He passed away in Hanukkah, the first day of Hanukkah, in Hey Tafkuf Pei Zayin. That was in the year 1827. I believe we're talking about nearly 200 years ago from time of recording. He was buried in Har HaZeitim, the Mount of Olives burial plot, in Jerusalem, respectively. Now, it's interesting. I believe his son-in-law was a famous Rabbi Chaim Abraham Gagin, another great rabbi who would become also a Rosh Yeshiva of the Kabbalistic Yeshiva, Yeshivat Bet El in Jerusalem. He'll be a Chacham Bashi also, and have one of the first ones in the land of Israel, one of the great rabbis. And he would actually, I believe, more of his descendants would get married into great rabbanim. Actually, I think Rabbi Shalom Moshe Chai Gagin, including a man who happened to be a famous Shluchei de Rabbanan and was also of great Torah purity, and he was also Rosh Yeshiva of Bet El, so very much was connected to the Bet El Kabbalistic dynasty. Now, his star student was Rabbi Yedidia Rafael Abulafia, another great rabbi we've spoken about before on various occasions. He also happened to be the Rosh Yeshiva of Yeshivat Bet El. Remember, at that point in time, let's say the Yeshivat Bet El Kabbalistic Yeshiva was, let's say, the bastion of the Yeshivot across Israel. So he had many great Talmudim. Now, his book, he wrote many, many great books in of itself. And the Divrei Shalom, which was, I think, based on volumes of the Etz Chaim, the Shmona Sha'arim of Rabbi Chaim Vital, I think was published B'Tfus Yisrael, if I'm not mistaken, in the year Tafresh Gimel in Jerusalem. And I think there was various different drashot sermons also included in this great Torah book in of itself. I think the published originally separately without the sermons in its original edition. I think there were two sections published together at a later stage, again at a later stage in time. And I think the Yeshiva Mkobalim also would print later on. I think in 2015, the book Divrei Shalom was actually, this was only quite recently in of itself, would have another printing. Very, very interesting enough, which I recommend everyone to check out the various different printings and the Torah works in regards to that. They've had Kabbalistic sermons, and later on, I think there was another edition that was printed by Nahar Shalom, Yeshivat Nahar Shalom, based in Nachlaot in Jerusalem, which I would recommend everyone to also look into. This was, I believe, the Nachlaot edition, Nahar Shalom, was printed also at a more recent stage in of itself. Now, Divrei Shalom was a great book. It has it's of the Kavanot of the Tefillot. Itself, it was, I think, a Siddur was actually compiled within regards to, it was a collection, let's say, of laws and customs practiced by Rabbi Sharabi, and within regards to the famous Rashash HaKadosh, if I'm not mistaken, the Siddur, itself, there's a collection of rulings of laws according to the Kabbalah, and very much that's compiled within regards to the famous Rabbi Chaim Vital. Rabbi Chaim Vital actually happened to be the famous student of the Arizal, Ari HaKadosh, Rabbi Aryeh Luri Ashkenazi, a rabbi we've spoken about on various occasions before, and different editions, I believe, was printed out all throughout the Torah Abba, if I'm not mistaken, which was Piskei Halachot on the Kabbalah and the gathering within regards to Shmona Sharim, the 8 gates in himself of Rabbi Chaim Vital, within regards to the Arizal. And many other great, I think this book in itself, the Torah Abba, will bring about the customs of the Rashash, Rabbi Shalom Sharabi, another rabbi we spoke about before. This was printed, I think, came out in Tafresh Samachay in Jerusalem, and I think a new printing or a picture of it was printed in year Taf Shin Lamed Hey, if I'm not mistaken. I was a great rabbi. Among his rabbi himself was his father, Rabbi Cheskia Yitzchak Sharabi. He learned his Torah from himself. Passed away in year 1827. As we said before, his Talmudim included Rabbi Yedidia Rafael Abu Lafia, the famous rabbi, and Rabbi Avraham Gagin. And I would recommend everyone to please get a book or research within regards to the Divrei Shalom. And he was buried in Har Hazeitim in Jerusalem. So please learn more about the great rabbis. Hopefully, maybe we'll at one stage dedicate a video within speaking about the history of the famous Yeshivat Bet El in of itself. It will be absolutely fantastic if we can do that. And maybe on the famous Rabbi Sharabi family, the rabbinic dynasty, because many of them were great rabbis in the Yeshivat Bet El, and Rabbi Mordechai Sharabi would actually become the founder of the famous Yeshivat Nahar Shalom based in Nachlaot, which opened about 90 years ago. Probably the most famous Kabbalistic yeshiva nowadays, in modern day, in 2024, possibly even in the whole of Israel, arguably. So really, really great rabbi, great rabbinic family. Please don't forget to light candles in the great rabbi's memory. Friends, we are a community over here. We're learning about the great rabbis of yesterday. We've covered around 550 great rabbis. Interesting enough, just to add on a few more points, his grandfather on the other side of his father was Rabbi Yitzchak Kobar Rishon, as we said before. His grandmother from his father's side was Rabbanit Chana. Very interesting enough. Just to add on, Rabbi Chaim Avraham Gagin will also become a Rishon LeZion, we stated before, which is interestingly enough to point out. And he, very, very interesting. So please, everyone, learn more about the great rabbis and light candles in his memory. Wishing you all well.